Hello, everyone. I'm doing my committee testimony here, and that's where I'm taking a policy that has some issues and I'm going to make it a little bit better. So, I'm going to be making changes to the 20 by 2020 education funding plan due to the lack of kept promises with the teacher salary increase. Hello, committee members. My name is Jake Hedeby, and I am with Let's Be Honest AZ. At face value, it is no secret that Arizona is severely lacking in education as a whole. WalletHub, a personal finance website, ranked Arizona as the 49th out of 50, stating that the quality of all school systems were graded based on test scores, dropout rates, pupil-teacher ratios, and certified or licensed teachers. There are so many issues to look at here, I almost didn't know where to begin. Then I looked at where the problem starts. Everything falls back on how Arizona treats their teachers. Decide how you want to perceive the word treatment? Teachers did in 2018, and that's when the Red for Ed campaign began. In 2018, Governor Ducey responded to the public's wish to make life better for educators by signing this education budget bill, better known as the 20% by 2020 bill that promised an increase to teachers' salary by 20% by the year 2020, along with many other areas that education funding needed to go towards. It was said by the governor's office that when fully implemented, it represented a $1 billion increase to education spending, including $644.1 million for a 20% increase in teacher pay by 2020. Unfortunately, this number has missed by a significant margin. So I have some charts here, and when I come into class and present next week on Tuesday or Thursday, I will have a slideshow. And so I have my charts here, and I'll have those and other visuals and anything else that I think adds to it when I go back to edit and revise my presentation here. But I will just kind of describe it how I have it. So above, I have a chart that officially states the results and goals of the 20 by 2020 plan. By the end of last year, teachers were supposed to have a 20% increase to their yearly salary, and instead only saw about 13.3%. And they averaged about $54,814, which is up from $48,372 as the average of salary in 2017. And so the easy response is, hey, it's still increasing. Why are we worried? Sure. But when every promise after promise keeps getting broken, teachers begin to lose hope. This leads to the repercussions of this issue: low teacher retention rate and low graduation rate. Another problem with this plan is the unofficial numbers that make their way online. So another example, I have a set of 4 graphs here, and so these visuals are really powerful to show you how much these numbers are varying. I have one here that says the median or average in 2021 was $58,856 for teachers. Another website stated $29,429. The third said $26,553. And the last one said that the average teacher salary in Arizona was $42,201. So how is anyone supposed to trust these numbers online when they vary to this degree? Coming up with a solution at first proved difficult. How are you supposed to fix something when the real problem is ineffectiveness of a plan that was supposed to help? Then, as simple as the issue seemed, the answer showed itself too. As a state, we need to expect more and never accept less. It was relieving to finally find the real numbers and research to back it up. azauditor.gov is defined as an independent source of impartial information concerning state and local governmental entities and provides specific recommendations to improve the operations of those entities. To fully fulfill its statutory duties, the office must ascertain whether public entities are making wise use of their resources, public money, personal property, equipment, and space. Also determine whether public entities are complying with applicable laws, regulations, governmental accounting, and financial and reporting standards. Another one being define standards and establish procedures for accounting and budgeting as the legislature requires, and provide technical assistance to state and local governmental entities. So those are basically just the responsibilities of an organization like azauditors.org. As a state, to raise our teachers' salaries would be the main goal. That is a given. But like said before, the transparency in the numbers is the priority, from how much was supposed to go into a specific fund and if it actually happened. With the varying numbers posted online, the only trustworthy source reporting on Arizona legislature down to the penny would be azauditor.org, where under their classroom spending report was an in-depth breakdown of where the 20 by 2020 plan fell short and to how it fell short. So here's where my solution begins. The solution is simple. In simple terms, would be making the state legislature use azauditor.gov as law. With all the numbers out there, legislature has even stated that the shortcomings of the 20% could be correlated to unreported salaries of private schools, which is a distractor, since simple research showed that a majority of private school or charter school teachers are paid less than they would be in public. This organization audits the spending and breakdowns of bills, budgets like the one Ducey signed in 2018, and report back on how the state did, whether or not they achieved their goals or not. Accountability is the power we hold as the people, and it's time that we enforce our expectations, not just share our grievances. Do not get my organization wrong. The plan to get 20% salary increase sounds great, but when it seems difficult to come through with the promise, the bill proposed does not equal money in pockets for teachers. When I mentioned no longer accepting less than before, this is how we go from let's try to get teachers more when it's convenient to we know what we expect from our state government and we will have our definitive answer whether they can do that by year's end. If they did what they said they would, great. I could not suggest that we implement consequences for a failure to follow through, however. The expectation should add a layer of pressure to not just say what the public wants to hear and actually put together a goal that they think is obtainable. And what is that expectation? Sure, the promise fulfilled by 20% by 2020 would be a great start. But what we deserve at a base level is much simpler. So I have another chart here that is at the bottom of all 50 states. This is the bottom 6. And so here they are ranked in terms of average salary and relation to percentage difference compared to all other occupation salaries in the state. So just an average of all other occupations, how does teaching match up against those in percentage-wise and just average salary? So now every state above these 6 are at least even with other jobs in terms of dollars per year. So percentage-wise, so the very last one here, Minnesota, is minus 10.10. So everything above that would be equal, and Minnesota down below for North Dakota, Florida, Arizona, Colorado, Virginia, those states, that's where we rank in the bottom 6. Now, why was this second part of the solution relying on salary compared to other occupations? With inflation and different costs of living across the country, it sounds unrealistic to expect a teacher minimum wage at any level of legislature. And raising it based on how much a certain place costs to live leaves a lot of gray area, especially with big states where so much of it can vary depending on what section of the state that you live in. From the chart on business.org, 88% of states in the US pay teachers more than the average salary of other occupations in the state. This seems to be the status quo for a solid payment plan, which is why I think Arizona can adopt it. When you get down to the bottom 10 in education funding teacher salaries, the trend is very obvious. All of the worst states, when looking at education, seem to have that in common. The lack of funds and consistent salary promised when compared to other occupations. Our goal year in and year out needs to be above that line. It will keep Arizona on track to at least be respected in the way that we treat our educators. Because if they can be above the average occupation salary, I think that's a great start and will just add respect to us as a state and how we are run. With inflation costs and living varying, we know what would be sufficient and come across as an actual increase. It's not just salaries that the money is going towards. Sure, athletics and materials are really important in high school, but outside of that, the priority should be obtaining and maintaining good quality school teachers. And at the end of the day, a livable and respectable wage and respectable salary is what will keep them. So that is my presentation, and so I will see your guys' reviews, and thank you. That's it.